Welcome back. We are here live on Sunday, August 12th. Wherever you may be, however you may be listening, whatever your reality is, you are now in the alleged reality. Loving life, feeling good. Here with my main man John, our co-host for the alleged reality.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm Jason on the other mic. And today we've got our anything funky correspondent with us. Kyle Joyce is in the house.
Hello.
Yeah, doing good. Let's see, I think let's do this one more time. Kyle Joyce is in the house, everybody.
Thank you. I didn't plan on being here or living this long, but it occurred to me that on February 22nd, 2022, will fall on a Tuesday, and it'll literally be Tuesday, and I think I'll stick around for that.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Look it up.
That's the good stuff.
It's the little things that keep you going sometimes.
Or the big things.
Sure.
Depending on what size britches you got on. We're having fun here today. It is Sunday. We are back live. We want to make sure that we thank you guys again for listening to the podcast. The Alleged Reality is the name of it. We have our YouTube channel, which is The Alleged Reality. Also go to our Facebook page, The Alleged Reality. Make sure you post on the page. Any feedback you get from you guys is very much appreciated, and we will continue the dialogue and hope you guys enjoy listening to our show.
Comments, concerns, questions?
Good, bad,
wherever you got.
Indifferent, we want it all. So make sure you guys are interacting with us if you're enjoying listening to the show.
Yeah, actually,
and be a part of it.
I think I would like to see that comment. I don't care about this.
Thank you.
Good to know.
You know what? I'll type back. Thank you.
I want to see him literally type, I don't care enough to even comment on this.
Thank you for commenting. Today we're going to go over a few topics here. We've got some fun stuff. We're coming to you live from Surprise, Arizona. Surprise is a lovely, lovely town outside of Phoenix in the state of Arizona. State of Arizona also, continuing on with a reoccurring theme here that we're rolling with, the state of Arizona has some crazy laws, just like last week where we talked a little bit about the pickle law in the state of Connecticut. To touch on that one again, the pickle law, where if you're serving pickles to the public in a form of if you're serving it with a sandwich or anything like that, the pickle must bounce when it is dropped from at least a foot.
It's got to be a nice, firm pickle.
Big firm pickle. And that goes for pickle. We said it's got to be whole pickles, not pickle spears, right?
Yeah, I don't think slices would bounce no matter how.
It's impossible for a pickle slice to bounce, but that is a Connecticut state law that we found. Arizona this week. Arizona also has some crazy laws. It is illegal, apparently, in Arizona for men and women over the age of 18 to have less than one missing tooth visible when smiling.
I say thank God. Yes.
This law was implemented during the Wild West days in order to encourage the people in the town to make dentistry more of a priority.
Good.
So all you snaggletooth missing people out there in Arizona, we are not having it.
The hockey community must be up in an uproar.
Yeah,
or something like
big hockey community in Arizona, by the way, with all that ice down there.
They got the Coyotes.
They do. So dentistry is a priority that they made during the Wild West days. And I guess the Wild West days was, what, the 1850s, somewhere in there, the
1880s.
The mid-1800s?
What we think of, like, when you
1800s.
watch movies, all the stories, Wyatt Earp, Jesse James, those things was all like the 80s,
1880s.
Yeah, it would definitely be after
Post-Civil War. Post-Civil War.
So the 80s of the 1880s were wild.
It's crazy.
The 1980s were also
Same
wild.
level.
That's right.
Same level.
Wonder
Caution to the wind.
The 2080s is going to be going down like.
Lit as fuck. That's
But it's just going to be LITAF.
That's right.
As the children say.
Back when they used to hop out of a moving carriage and dance to Camptown races, to them pretending to film them.
Oh.
As they,
No, I got you. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch? I don't know.
There's
There's a highbrow crowd here, so I figure I can take jokes to that
They're
level.
trying to take the one photograph.
You just keep doing that for about 30 minutes.
Now, I wonder how many more men to women ratio it was that had missing teeth. I wonder if it was a lot of women, because, men back then with their women, they didn't put up with stuff.
That's right.
They did not. You want to what?
Take sass from no woman and no bartender neither.
All right. Now get your ass up there and smile for the camera. I guess that's what was going on.
I guess so.
Well, that, like you said, probably poor hygiene. I don't know how big dentistry was.
Wasn't all hygiene awful back? I mean, it had to be,
yeah.
And that's something that doesn't come through on any of the movies that you watch or old TV shows. Is how they smelled.
Yeah, like a bath was like a treat. Like they traveled for months, and then a cowboy came into town, and like having a bath was like
treating myself to a bath. Yeah.
It's the cat's pajamas.
The women, but. This is going to sound a little gross, but I don't know how rampant a lot of disease was, so maybe too many women weren't totally destroyed. I don't know. I mean, at that point, the government hadn't invented AIDS yet, so.
That's actually accurate, probably. But funky undercarriage has been a thing forever, I would assume. That's why the powder, it was all about powder back then, right? They just slap powder on everything.
Well, keep things dry, yeah.
And help with the stench.
None of this is an indictment against Arizona, by the way.
No, but if you're in Arizona,
people in general,
and you're missing a tooth, you are not allowed by law to smile visibly in
it's
public.
Arizona. What's there to smile about?
Yeah, well, that, and if you're missing teeth, why are you smiling? Are you that happy?
Is it technically even a smile? I don't know. I never really looked at the definition.
It's a portion.
If she doesn't have teeth, can she really smile? Is it even a smile?
I don't know.
That's
Still
the kind of
interesting.
question that'll puzzle scholars for years.
And how much would it take for any officials in there to like even read some of these old laws and be like, maybe we could just erase that?
I don't. Well, with any of these state laws, I mean, they're like the pickle thing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of.
I think it's also a matter of like how often they're going to be enforced anyway. I mean,
and what brought that about? And like what brought that about? It's the most popular question. What happened that made something obscure like that? What happened? What really tipped the scales? And so they're having a meeting. I don't know. So if this is a state law, this is a state level.
Oh yeah.
Gathering of people.
The governor.
We need to.
And they're like, so what are we really? This was a serious conversation at some point. Even for the Wild West days, it sounds. I can see why they would do it for the dentistry thing, the mentality of people in certain time periods. You can't really understand it because nobody was there. So
it had to be all the pictures that were coming out.
But
all the pictures had people with missing teeth, and they were like,
"Guys, we look like shit.
We look pretty poor.
We got it.
Let's clean this up." But it was a state law, so like you said, it had to be, order in the court today.
Yeah.
We address topic number 1.
On a more serious note, guys. Raping and pillaging has been a real problem here in Arizona, but on a more serious note.
Yeah. But before we get to that, that's the truth. That's how it went down.
Every time we talk about obscure laws and like wishing we could have done that traveling TV show where we go to the random towns and break these old school obscure laws, like find what we could do, like Columbus, Georgia, or something like that. That you can't. It's illegal to tie your giraffe to a lamppost.
Yeah.
Something like that. What happened? What happened?
How many giraffes are being tied to lampposts?
Could it really have been just one? Could it? Or I thought about that scenario before. Maybe I never mentioned it. What was just some guy? There was a councilman who really hated this one guy. This guy had some scenario, not important, tied up a giraffe, and this guy's, oh really? I'm gonna stick it to this motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's like, we're gonna make it illegal.
The one giraffe owner in town.
I'm tired of this guy.
Maybe they had a zoo. Did Columbus have a zoo?
With his giraffe, tying him up all over the place.
What if it was just a horse with a long neck and people were falling for
riding this giraffe everywhere and just tying it to every lamppost? We got to put it in that shit.
Teach him a lesson.
But that's how all that stuff works. It's got to be sat down and debated, and then voted on. They have to hold a vote. The ayes have it.
And for all we know, I mean, this went through a lot of back and forth, and they're like, no. Maybe it started with they can't be missing more than 3 teeth, and other people are like, no.
Yeah, was it up for debate?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a give and take there until they finally agree. And very rarely is something just completely unanimous. So there's probably always somebody holding.
So they're merely a dentist. They clean teeth and fix, fill teeth. I don't even know if they were capable of filling teeth.
What were they putting in back then? Wood.
My point is,
right?
So my point is, I'm
Wooden
looking
teeth?
at it and I'm like, did a dentist do that?
Well, generally,
can they make dentures for you? So if they don't have any teeth, what's the point of going to the dentist anymore?
Generally, it wasn't wooden teeth. That's a kind of a misconception. They would usually use cadaver teeth. Yeah.
Hey, while you're in there on that cadaver,
Well, I don't even know how well that works.
Check out his teeth.
his wang looks a little better than mine. Why don't you swap that out too?
Like your tooth is still. Your teeth are still kind of living organism tissue, isn't it? Like when you die, though, that you couldn't just replace. Like that tooth would eventually rot out of that person's head.
Yeah,
it's not getting fed. It has blood in it. I don't know if that'll work.
But at the same time,
challenge.
There's more teeth.
Challenging.
Challenging. I disagree. No, they would use cadaver teeth, and there was no shortage of them.
I like the next one. That was somebody being an asshole, and somebody didn't like it, and they took it too far. Or just far enough.
Yeah, so scrolling down the state of Arkansas, keeping on the theme
or Arkansas, depending on
of crazy themes, and also tooth challenge states of Arkansas. Honking one's car horn at a sandwich shop after 9 p.m. is against the law.
Good.
I would bet you that came from the sandwich shop owner lobby.
This was passed in 1961.
So, relatively recent.
Cold drinks or sandwiches are served. So, sitting out in the parking lot honking for your girlfriend to come out.
Yeah. Obviously, somebody took this too far.
Figures.
Kept
Bill
laying
Clinton
into it.
State.
Yeah. Don't honk that horn. So we got some dumb laws out there, but that's every state's got them, and we'll try and keep searching through and finding you some fun stuff. Some little tidbits about these states. Arizona, you better get some dentures if you want to smile in public around there.
And look at this: out of 50 states, it's number 80 on best honeymoon destinations. Interesting fact.
That is an interesting fact. It's also ranked number 80 on the best honeymoon destination. And Kyle brought up the great point. It's only 50 states. How did you get 80th? You mean tell me nobody's going to Arkansas on their honeymoon?
Not on purpose.
Baby, look at here. We can go to Arkansas.
Not on purpose.
But don't honk that horn after 9 o'clock when you're driving past a sandwich shop. Now, if it's an Applebee's, go ahead. Blow that horn loud as you want.
Lay into it.
Anything goes at Applebee's, I feel. Honestly, they've stepped their game up. So every month on whatever random nights, they do dollar drink specials at Applebee's. And I happened to go on Valentine's Day. I went to see a girl who was a belly dancer doing a show at a Turkish restaurant in Evans. And after the show, we went to Applebee's across the way.
Because that's where you go when,
$1 Bahama Mamas all night long. I was buying them for everybody, all the Valentine's Day people in the bar. And it actually was good. Dude, they actually had alcohol. I know that I'm a bit of a wussy, quote unquote, when it comes to drinking. But I can acknowledge the fact when something has a decent amount of alcohol, I'm like, this is $1? Keep it coming, everybody.
Sounds like the end is near for Applebee's. But who knows?
They're just giving these away.
Yep.
And that's how we get an Applebee's promotion.
But, maybe Applebee's is someone's dream job.
It must be for some, since they seem to stick around there a long time.
It must be.
People. Yeah.
That was something that Kyle and I were talking about a little bit before the show, and actually talked about it with my wife last night, is how do you people out there, how does anybody know what your dream job really is? It's more complicated than just saying, I want to do this. This is my dream job.
Right.
Well, any job has has other sides to it that are not fun, or that it's a lot more work than you always think it is.
Yeah, any
like
job
that.
can
So
have downsides. Yeah.
How does anybody supposed to know what their dream job would be? You can't just say I like puppies, so I'm gonna become a veterinarian. Well, that means you got to put puppies down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every job's got a downside of it. I mean, does anybody have a dream job that wants to be a garbage man?
Look, I'll say this: that's usually a very well-paying job, a lot of job security. But I don't know anybody that aspires to be a.
I made kind of a point because I've thought about it before, and when you call something your dream job, there's got to be some kind of measurable. So this is my dream job because you're doing what you like. Some people can't do what they like because they won't afford them to do the other things they like. So then it comes down to what measurables do you consider? So I was telling Jason, I was like, I looked at a good example. I thought about it. I was watching Shark Week a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. There's people that just sit down there and make no money in the Bahamas following fish and sharks around. They're like marine biologists. They wear the same clothes every day. They don't care. They don't care about social life. They don't care about having cars and all that stuff. They don't care about any of that stuff.
Right.
They wake up every day and want to go swim in the water and study fish for the rest of their life. They don't make a ton of money. They don't care. So is that their dream? That's their dream job. It wasn't based off of, I work because I want to have a big house and a boat and I want a second home and I want to get this car. So I want to work a bunch of overtime in a factory or whatever.
Well, there are different measurables for everybody, though.
Yeah, if there's some guys like, my dream job is to be a doctor, is it because you just really love that stuff and do you care about the money at all? I don't know. Do they?
A lot of doctors don't make much money for several years after school anyway because they're usually paying off a lot of student debt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was telling Jason, I feel like I don't necessarily have too much of a dream job anymore. I just want to be able to make money to afford time off, sadly. Because everything that matters to me in my life is what I do in my off time.
I want to make enough money to not work sometimes.
Well, dream job only consists usually of people that have no real responsibilities either. Mm. You can't just take off down to the Bahamas and swim around with sharks in the same clothes every day and not get paid any money if you have kids, if you have families that you have to support, your parents need, you know what I mean? Like there's certain needs that you're just never going to be able to do those things. But I guess the scenario only plays in if you're able to drop everything that you're doing and it's not going to matter to go do what you really want to do.
It's it's almost impossible because then somebody wins the lottery, and not like a $2 million lottery that people will blow through. Like $100 million, and they do. I watch those how I want.
Yeah, $2 million's never enough,
no, dude. They'll buy all their friends' houses and cars and stuff, and then it's like gone. But yeah, it is dumb.
You're gonna lose. Super dumb. You lose almost half of that in taxes anyway. So
that's right.
Either way,
you can blow.
But say you win in the hundreds of millions. Do you have a dream job anymore? Exactly.
Deep thoughts.
Now, hundreds of millions, you can create your dream job. You could actually say, all right, what do I enjoy doing more than anything else? Mm-hmm. And then just do it.
Yeah.
If you want to swim with sharks every day, you have $100 million. Guess what? You can buy a boat, have somebody drive you out there and dump you into the ocean.
Yeah.
You can swim with sharks all you want.
Until they eat you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually...
Which should be the way that everybody dies that...
Eating
likes doing that.
Everybody should die eaten by sharks?
No, that likes doing that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's like Evel Knievel should die crashing
a stunt.
A stunt. You know what I mean? The crocodile hunter.
Mm. Steve Irwin.
Like he shouldn't have died.
Ironically, he died by a stingray.
He shouldn't have died by a stingray.
Died by a crocodile.
Yeah, he should have died because he was sticking his head in a crocodile's mouth like an asshole. That's how it should go.
So you want some type of I guess you want like
poetic
ironic
justice. I want poetic justice. That's what I want. But we pulled up here. The NASA apparently, allegedly, will pay you $5,000 a month to stay in bed.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. But I think it's still kind of interesting. And we were talking about dream jobs.
Well, it's
only it's trying to figure out what would be dream jobs for lazy people.
Mostly this was to help, if I remember correctly, this was to help kind of determine the effects of low gravity and not being able to move around as much.
Right.
And how that affects the body. And this was a way for them to kind of
muscle deterioration, things like that would happen if your muscles aren't being used. So, and I guess it sounds cool to get paid $5,000 a month to just stay in bed the whole time.
But
they're not going to put you on a 20-year plan and then let you retire. And probably what it like, hey, 1 month or 2 months. You know,
here's your collection of bed sores.
Don't quit your job. Just take a leave of absence.
Yep. But who knows about dream jobs? I think it's crazy.
That stuff's out
every
there.
single job. Any job out there that you have, or anybody that it looks awesome. Musicians. It sounds like all you guys just get to play music all the time.
That's a lot of work, though.
It's so much work getting to the point where you actually get in front of the mic and get to start singing.
And then there's so much touring. It's okay if you want to be a successful musician, you've got to tour so much, and you're playing.
That means years
the same
on the
song
road,
over and over
in
again.
Shitty vans, not getting fed.
Yeah.
Like hoping that some groupie will bring you.
You make millions of dollars. You make millions of dollars, but you're still living in an RV day to day, basically.
That's right.
Yeah.
It might be a nice RV, but you're still on a bus.
It's only a dream job if you're like, I always want to I want to travel. I want to live out of a bus. It's got to fit all that stuff. You can't say my dream job is to be a musician. Well, then you'd just be a musician. You're not you wouldn't be an entertainer. There's a difference.
Imagine
your dream job is to be an entertainer. At that point,
you've created this song that you love, and it's a hit. Now you have to play it over and over and over until you're probably at the point where I wish I had never wrote this fucking song.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Well, you wrote it to get other people to like it.
Yeah, but again, just imagine having to play it over and over and over. I can imagine that there are some musicians that are just like, I never.
I think it depends on their level. Like, I feel like entertainers are okay with it. Like maybe, I guess, whatever you consider a true deep down artist probably hates it because like they want to be like, oh, I'm more than just this.
Right.
But I told him, it's like Sir Mix-a-Lot owns the fact that he's by some outlets considered. Baby Got Back is considered like one of the best, if not the best, one-hit wonder of all time. And that's his thing, and that's all he's ever going to be. And he's totally fine with that because he acknowledges the fact that I wouldn't have anything outside. If I didn't have that hit, who knows where I would be, if anywhere. And he says that straight up. But there's some guys that had big hits, and they wish they could move on, and they wish they never did it, and they wish they weren't part of it anymore.
Yeah. And
they hate doing it. So,
but he makes a good point. That's what got you here. Years ago here in Augusta, Georgia, but Vanilla Ice was scheduled to perform, and this was maybe 1998, 99,
so
somewhere in there.
Well beyond
his fame.
All right.
But he was going to come and play, and he told the club owner, "I refuse to play Ice Ice Baby."
Then why are you here?
And the club owner looked right at him and said, "That's the only reason you're here.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to play that, then get the hell out of here." And that's what they got to resign to. But we were talking literally about what are there one hit wonders today that would actually make them enough money, like the one hit wonders of the '80s. And there's a slew of them. Yeah. They're still touring in 2018 because of that one song that they had.
Yeah.
There's fans that show up and will hear their shitty concert just to hear that one song.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know if anybody can get away with that today.
That was our point. If an artist came out with a one-hit wonder song, I don't know if I can think of too many, but I threw out an example like Carly Rae Jepsen, "Call Me Maybe," biggest song of the summer.
Yeah.
How far is that going to get her? Is she doing anything anymore? Would it carry on anymore? No. That was like the biggest hit of the year.
That was
not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. Like, it'll never go anywhere. She'll never do it. Probably, most likely not doing it. Like, her time's gone. Like, if you have a hit song, that's how it works now. If you have a hit song, you better come out with another one quick. Like, Taylor Swift was coming out with hit. She would have just had one, gave it a few months, and didn't have another one. Girls would have moved on to somebody else.
Probably.
Most likely.
Becky, look at her face.
Yeah.
So big. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends.
And even
who understands
old people and a 21-year-old kid at the bar all know this part right here, this intro to this song, which is crazy no matter where I go. There's age range, kids that were born in 1996, 97 know this intro.
Yeah.
But it holds up. And I don't know that any of that stuff will. And he's out there, he's doing this right now 4 times a day if they ask him.
He's been doing it since, it's going to be 30 years he's been doing this song.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though is back in the day, his tape was one of the first tapes that I owned, and it was just a single. And it was, maybe got back on one side, and on the B side was Cake Boy. You remember that song?
Yeah.
It was pretty classic.
Not classic enough, apparently.
It was good enough for the B side.
I think the first cassette I owned was...
Ice Ice Baby was the B side of Vanilla Ice's first album. I can't remember what the other song was.
I think it was a Def Leppard.
Because they tried to play it. No, it wasn't a Def Leppard song on the Vanilla Ice album.
No, I mean the...
But who knows what that's.
Def Leppard's nothing, dude. That drummer from that thing is so sorry. I could do that same shit one-handed.
Here's Cake Boy. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Cake Boy, circa 1991.
Oh wow, feels like a song on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
It feels like a Prince intro.
Primus feels like a Primus song going into.
There you go.
He's in a yellow Camaro, skin so smooth, a buttercup boy from the funny school.
I like it already, and I'm only one line into it. It's actually really kind of good.
Crazy, and he's got them skin tight spandex.
I love that beat.
It's pretty good.
It actually is really good, dude. It's good. Holy crap! Been missing out. Man, Sir Mix-a-Lot about to make a comeback. No longer a one-hit wonder.
And a touch of blush makeup. And why most fly girls getting hooked on this? Cause he ain't down for the French kiss. Girl, I'ma tell you what a Cake Boy.
I'm digging it. We're all just kind of sitting here like, God damn, our whole lives have been a lie.
Tossed salad is the hairdo?
Yeah.
And most girls tell him too, brother, I'm scared of you.
I'm telling you, we're missing opportunities here.
And he ain't down to throw.
Wow.
I used to play this all the time, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm going to be thinking about this every time I walk into a room now. Winking at the ladies. Look at that girl. Toss salad with the hairdo.
That's pretty good, though.
It's actually really pretty good. I like it.
That's
Because
a good
I've been
song.
getting into music like that, like getting into throwback stuff. It has like a kind of it has like a 70s vibe, like funk vibe to it.
Sure.
And I've been kind of digging on those things now because I had like I'm not entertained by a lot of modern songs. Like all the hits, all the stuff that's hits now, just not there. What are you gonna do?
Well, and what's a hit? You know, we talked about that.
Honestly, it's how many downloads.
It's how many downloads, how many views.
That's what makes it a hit or not.
All that sort of thing. But there's no sustainability to any of it.
Right.
You know, whatever the viral video was 2 weeks ago, you couldn't remember what it was.
Nope.
Could have 50 million views. Some of the stuff that gets that kind of views on there, it's like that.
Ooh, another fight at McDonald's.
That's what got it.
Yeah.
You know what? People are going for the show at McDonald's now. Sales are going up. Everybody's sitting back. It's like, where are you going? I'm going to the fights tonight. We're at Mickey D's over there on 56. Oh, okay.
Is it not
Sit back and
amazing
watch what
how
happens.
much more pleasant of an experience you get at Chick-fil-A than you do at any other fast food restaurant? And it's all just their commitment to be, sincerely nice.
Yeah.
It'll be our pleasure to serve you at the window.
As long as you're not gay.
As long as you ain't no homo.
I don't know about a lot of other lines of business. Like for us, anytime we get an applicant who previously worked at a Chick-fil-A, we're like automatically interviewing them. Because any place that has like a customer service mantra and like that's the emphasis,
Yes.
you already know you're getting somebody that's learned a little bit about it as opposed to somebody that has no idea about what it takes to do
But
that.
what if, fine, they worked at Chick-fil-A, but they were fired for dipping their junk in the... I mean...
Yeah, we'd be like, hey, we don't serve any sauce here at Dick's Sporting Goods, so...
You can't work here.
Yeah, I mean... Chick-fil-A does have good customer service. Obviously, their ownership
Dipped your nuts in the
does
sauce?
something that I don't...
I like
agree
you,
with,
kid,
but-
that took balls.
I don't think I've ever seen a Chick-fil-A not busy, except on Sunday.
Oh, it's great. It's insane. And their food is super not healthy. It's the worst it's the highest calorie, highest fat, highest sodium fast food chicken you can buy too.
Yeah.
And people don't care.
Yeah.
It's worse than KFC.
Isn't it crazy though? The mindset though is that it's better for you somehow.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's bread and it's fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's not. If you actually go online and look at I forget what it's called. It's like an online menu. They'll give you the stats on like everything on every restaurant, like every meal they make.
And it's just going.
Chick-fil-A and Zaxby's are the two worst as far as their chicken products. Even the grilled chicken, it's so high in sodium.
Yeah.
Both of the chicken sandwiches are almost 3,000 milligrams of sodium, which you're not supposed to have more than 2,000 a day.
Yeah.
Well, Subway's success came from the disguise of making people think that it's how you lose weight is you go eat at Subway. The whole Jared campaign for him losing 600 pounds, anybody with any sense knows that he got gastric bypass. That's the only way that you lose 300 pounds or whatever it was. Well, you cannot lose weight by eating sandwiches all day long.
Well,
it's impossible.
It depends.
Eating other things. I'm pretty sure he didn't eat it 3 times a day, and maybe not even every day. Even if he just did have like one, I think his thing was like he had one veggie sub a day for one of his meals.
I
probably think working out, but over what kind of time frame?
It was
he
mostly,
didn't do it 6 months.
If I remember right, first of all, he would walk to the Subway, and he would essentially, I think,
his apartment was right above it.
He'd walk down the stairs. I'll walk there.
He would walk there, get a 6-inch, and I think 2 6-inches, and have that, and then go look at children.
Now he walks down the cell block, gets 2 6-inches.
Man, I've got a story about Jared. I actually met Jared in 2005, I think, maybe 2005, 2006. Living in Pensacola, and we were down on the boardwalk, and they had this outdoor bar, and above the bar was their VIP area. Mm-hmm. It was basically just stairs going up each side to a platform that was right above the actual main bar. And this is all out on the boardwalk, so there's tons of people walking everywhere.
Sure.
So we're out there at the bar. We see him, and we're like, hey, is that Jared from Subway?
Oh, my gosh.
He had this incredible air of douchery about him, like his shit didn't stink. And he, I guess, paid to be up in the VIP area. Well, it was him and this one other guy, and they went up there. And I was talking to the bartender, like, so that's Jared from Subway. And he's like, yeah, he's a real dick. He's upstairs in the VIP. But the funny thing is, he keeps asking every woman that is here tonight to come up there with him, and none of them will come up there. So he's up there by himself like a jackass. And he was just standing up there just looking out at everybody. The cocktail waitresses wouldn't even go up there.
And they're kind of
supposed
dependent
to.
On, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
So what does that tell you about that guy? Who's that douche?
I think it was kind of funny, just a little bit of a throwback. The night that we were at Hideout, I don't know if you were there, John, and it was the night after that 90s thing downtown.
Yeah, that was great.
And we ran it, and then I think it was you, Jason, that looked over and says that.
It was Coolio and...
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, is that Kid from Kid and Play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh.
Yeah,
I was like, nah, why the hell would he be here? And sure enough, it was. And then Coolio was there. And then I just remember like us hanging over there. We were over there on the smoking side. Coolio was over on the side playing darts. That dude Chris Reed was walking around.
Yeah.
He kept walking over and hanging out with us, dude. We met him, said hey, and took our selfies. And we're like, okay, well that's good. Have a good night. He kept making his way back over to us.
Like, no, man, tell me about y'all, man. What's
what
going
a fall from grace, man.
I have to go.
I wasn't expecting conversation with you, but how's the writing going, Chris?
We're done here.
He was actually pretty cool, though.
He was really cool, man.
Yeah. Julio was high as hell.
Yeah,
had to be
blazed out.
I vaguely remember taking that picture, and because I saw it the next day, I'm like, holy shit, that did happen. I did mean that. I thought that was years ago. No, it was last night.
And those are, to a certain degree, they're still touring.
Yeah.
The same way that, all the 80s bands are off of their one-hit wonder stuff. I mean.
And you know what they have to do every concert? They got to do the Kid and Play dance from House Party.
They do. That's
have
right.
To do it every time.
Have to do it, whether they want to or not.
Just not feeling it today, guys.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Too bad.
See,
You want to get that
Jared would have still been hanging out, making money, and out of trouble if he just walking around with that giant pair of pants and let people climb inside it with him and take pictures.
Well, he was letting kids climb.
Yeah,
in
I think
there.
that was part of the problem.
Like it was a ride at the circus or the fair.
Speaking of circus, Steven Seagal.
Yep, Steven Seagal, appointed by Russia, not by the United States, by the way.
But Mother Russia.
They've
decided that you need to represent us in your country.
Now, he is a special envoy to the U.S. I know an envoy is a type of vehicle from GMC. Is he a special version of that?
Yeah, he's a truck.
I guess it's how he's used to communicate to the United States through Russia.
He's basically like a spokesman.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Seagal.
I'm trying to think. I guess it could be, in all fairness, there is a U.S. in Russia. There's a U and an S. So I'll throw that out there.
That's brilliant.
But it's neither here nor there.
The USSR?
Yeah, the U.S. in that too.
But
it's like it's almost like he's an objective third party, I guess, in a way. Like the
is he
so yeah, definitely.
He's a mediator
in a way. So he's not viewed as political. They list him as a humanitarian. So what if they took like what they would kind of consider a person that's kind of neutral?
I don't think he is.
So
it's not like the U.S. is sending a U.S. representative, a political.
How great would it be if Putin is on one side, Trump's on the other, and Seagal is in the middle? Just goes. All right, now we're going to talk about some great things here.
Until we treat this planet with the respect that it deserves.
I realize
about each other.
I realize this is some deadly ground, and I don't want to get under siege for what I'm about to say.
But Mr. Putin,
you're
hard to kill.
Yeah.
Mr. Putin, you think
I can see the value in it if you look at it from that
justice.
way. In another scenario, but it got really just totally trashed, like the Dennis Rodman to Korea thing. Like, take somebody that's not a politician, maybe just looks better.
Well,
taking like not a politician to be this envoy. I don't know how the definition of what that.
The thing about Seagal though is
entail,
he has pretty much idolized Putin for years. He's gone and said so many great
takes
things.
His shirt off every time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like he's really objective.
You ever ridden a bear topless? I mean, he has.
Not yet.
Pretty cool.
But he's being named a special representative to promote humanitarian ties between Russia and the United States. What is that?
Is there a better person though? Like,
a better humanitarian than the guy
I'm just
that rips
saying.
out
Like
throats?
I'm just saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd kick that kid in the throat.
Who would be okay to send? Who would be an example of a person you think that would be okay up there?
Well, let's see. Who does everybody
anyone
love?
else? I mean,
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, send Chuck Norris.
Yeah, they both do.
If you're gonna send 80s fighting stars,
they both do martial arts. I feel like.
I think
they
Chuck
both
Norris
have
would
goatees.
probably kill Putin. That's why.
Putin's read the memes. He's not going there.
he's not having that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think he's
busy with Tostitos.
The Tostitos.
Yeah, he's ambassador to Guatemala or wherever they make Tostitos.
Don't get Van Damme.
What kind of privileges do you think Seagal gets in Mother Russia?
Well,
all of them.
I know he's got an official Russian. He's got an official Russian passport. I know that. And again, he's basically
he had to
idolized.
get there.
Yeah. No, you can really.
Mr. Seagal, we will meet in Chernobyl. It's lovely this time of year.
No, this guy's a clown.
That's just a weird job. It's a weird appointment, I guess.
It is.
Like all the people, and you brought up Dennis Rodman with North Korea. Like, of all the people to try and solve the issues that we have with these countries, this is who we're going with.
Well, maybe they thought.
I think it's awesome.
Well, maybe Russia was sitting there going like, "Who's not busy?"
Yeah. I guess I don't know. They're probably looking. What if I don't know how big he is in Russia. What if Steven Seagal is huge in Russia? What if he's like widely respected as like an actor and martial artist?
Kind of like Hasselhoff was in Germany.
Just because we don't, but it's like so.
Yeah.
People love him here too. He's probably he's famous here too. So what if they just figured That's a person that a lot of people kind of like
my understanding,
respect. Is there any reason not to respect Steven Seagal?
Well, I'm saying my understanding is the way this has gone down over the years, it's almost the opposite, where Steven Seagal just has so much respect and admiration for Putin. And that's why Putin reciprocates by saying, "Oh, you're a great guy, this too." It's not like he's popular over there. It's just he idolizes Putin.
We'll make you an envoy.
So here's the thing.
Whatever that means.
Here's the thing, and it comes up a lot, and I see it between people like on social media talk about. So they're out there trying to improve ties with all these places. Why did it all of a sudden become such a bad thing? Like at first they were saying, are we still trying to hate Russia? So instead of trying to improve ties with people, we were supposed to hate them. Everybody was saying Trump's going to start World War III. Look at what Korea's going to do. Oh, and it's all his fault, blah, blah. Now he fixed it. Now everybody's like, oh, why are you sympathetic to Korea? Well, how of a sudden how did you flip all of a sudden?
How did he fix it? He hasn't fixed it.
Are we talking about it anymore? He went over there and shook the guy's hand?
Nope. That doesn't fix anything.
Brought that back. I'm just saying, so instead of everything going to shit and we had all these threats about missiles, now all of a sudden all that stopped. And I was like, oh, nobody cares now.
Yeah, just fix our relations with Nigeria.
Good job.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. But it is an unpaid position, apparently. The Goodwill Ambassador.
Well, he's still the sheriff of Shreveport, Louisiana, so
he is.
Paid. Oh, good Lord.
That's true. You got the right to remain silent, dead, I think. Get down on the ground.
You got the right to remain dead.
Don't run, please. What is that?
I don't know.
What is that? Sorry, folks. A little break in the action.
Hey, it happens.
It happens. We got folks upstairs. We got groupies. They're waiting. Groupies are waiting.
No, not at all.
That's something that I wonder too. Are groupies still a thing? Like the big music acts these days. Did they have groupies? Is there a line of women waiting outside their bus like there was in the 80s?
I mean, obviously somebody like Taylor Swift probably doesn't have a line of women.
Beg to differ.
Not the same way.
This day and age?
Not the same way. I'm just saying.
But what are the male stars? I mean, I can't think of anything.
I guess, right? Like Ed Sheeran. I bet he has a ton of women. Yeah, I'm sure Justin Bieber, man, he's probably getting just railed.
But with
God, yeah.
With everything being so, everybody kind of understand the situations a little bit more these days. The climate is very different. So does that stuff still go on? I wonder. I mean, the old stories about these bands from the 80s or 70s or 60s it's incredible with the things that women would line up to do.
Sure.
It's hard for me to imagine that that's the case.
Still are, because the people that really want it, there's women out there that's like a super fantasy, and they'll go to lengths to get that to happen.
Yeah, but
I feel like it's just part of the job.
I think that the musicians are probably a little more hesitant to get involved in situations like that because of the change in the climate.
You should be.
Yeah.
If you're first off, if you're a white male and you're in charge of anybody, better be on your P's and Q's, buddy. I want to see you in my. Oh wait, we ain't going to my office.
In a very public location.
Yeah.
Surrounded.
Yes. We're going out in front of everybody.
Everyone.
And I'm going to say what I got to say.
Have this meeting at your parents' house.
Yep. Who's that? He's my lawyer.
And that's a real shame too. And fortunately, they don't make it to the light. But I got a buddy of mine I follow on social media, and he hates all that stigma about that stuff, and where it seems like it's a world now where it's really easy for women to just say something and men get in trouble for it. It's super apparent. But he also posts all these stories where that don't make it big because of what they say, but of women getting caught making false claims and admitting that they made false claims for whatever kind of reasons and stuff. Like
that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, the false claims.
And then women actually getting arrested and punished for it.
It's generally a minority, though. That's a very small percentage of.
We'll never know. It's kind of skewed.
Well, I have to believe that the people that are reporting things falsely is a small percentage. I mean, it clearly has been a situation for decades that things have gone unreported for a long time, or ignored, or kind of swept under the rug. And now people are becoming more aware and cognizant of things like that. But at the same time, I don't believe that there's this large group that is just making false claims for the sake of it.
And then there's ones that's like over the top claims. So like when I went to my HR training and stuff, and they teach you about what's acceptable and not acceptable, there's women that report being told that you look nice today. You just they're told that they can claim sexual harassment for being told. It doesn't matter. Somebody commented on their looks. It's not okay in the business world anymore.
No,
and that'll happen. And that literally happened, and it's happened before.
But that is not the definition of sexual harassment.
We had an employee get a truck driver fired that was delivering in our store that was on a cell phone, and she thought that he was on the phone talking about her, saying this woman is fine. I need to hit her up. He's talking on the phone, not looking at her, but she felt it was about him, and his truck driver got fired because she reported it, saying that he was making inappropriate comments to her.
All right, well, again,
that's how it happens. It happens all the time.
That's how the pendulum swings too far the other way. After, again, look, usually the reaction ends up being an overreaction based on a long underreaction. But again, there's just not this pervasive element of people making false claims left and right. There's just not. That's an outlier.
I just feel like it's getting pushed more into, and then one person reports it. Now a whole bunch of women are saying, oh yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. That happens, dude. That happens too, man. All of a sudden, like one person says, all of a sudden, 30 years ago, my boss.
That's not. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's out of control, and it's just like.
Well, you definitely can't bring them into your office and open your trench coat and just go.
Ta-da! When could you ever do that?
I don't know, the 50s. I've seen the 50s videos.
Yeah.
It's like
that doesn't make
it. Create an uplifting work environment by gently slapping your secretary on the ass and telling her she's doing a great job. What happened to those days? No. We're losing the values in society.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what I value.
Speaking of values, a story that we touched on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Talking about the baseball player who was a star pitcher for Oregon State,
Luke Heimlich,
who made it to and won the national championship this year in college baseball. He was projected to be a high draft pick in the Major League Baseball draft in June.
Until
it came out, that he had some history.
Some history
with some child molestation, pleading guilty to child molestation with his 6-year-old niece in 2012.
Yeah.
We discussed that a little bit, but just kind of an update on that story. And the things that bothered us about that were the fact that he's being allowed to continue to play and to be a part of what was a national championship team. The guy's going to get a ring. And, the balance of what's right versus everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
But do you deserve a second chance that includes things like being allowed to be a part of something very special, like a national championship team after doing something like that? Should you have the chance to lead a productive life? Of course.
Yeah. But if you're a registered sex offender, which he is, does that, just because you have a physical ability, does that mean you should be able to profit off that ability? Not necessarily. Not at all.
Not necessarily. And that's what's up for debate.
And I think it was Kansas City at the time was kind of kicking the tires on possibly signing him. They eventually decided not to. And
right. But the baseball draft has, God knows how many rounds. Sure. I don't even know if anybody knows how many rounds the Major League Baseball draft is.
62.
62. There you go. John knows. I think Mike Piazza was 61st round pick or something like that.
I believe it.
It was a favor to Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, was it?
Yep. It worked. But he was not drafted.
No.
So that kind of tells you this guy was a first round talented player, did not get drafted. That tells you that Major League Baseball wants nothing to do with him.
Good.
So what he did, it looks like he tried to sign with a team in China.
Yeah.
And they, the actual baseball league stepped in and said that they needed to review his case before he was able to sign his contract, and
they canceled it immediately because
they terminated it.
The Chinese Baseball League essentially has rules stating that if you have a criminal record, you are not going to play with us.
But is that a criminal, like if you've had a speeding ticket?
I would imagine that.
You drive too fast. You no play no baseball. That's my Chinese. Is that good?
I'm still impressed that whoever wrote the article left all those green underlines for all the grammatical errors on there, and they were just like, fuck it.
No, that's not.
It's all incorrect, but we're just going to let it ride.
Those are links.
You don't look like a Chinese.
There's a link for they had signed and was not.
I bet if you hover over,
it will
open up a link to something else that references that.
Yep.
Oh!
How about that?
What are the odds?
Stone cold, motherfucker.
I don't know.
But this Chinese baseball league said,
no,
we're not having it, brother.
I know we talked about it like to death that last time I was on here, but I also look at the last part and said he blamed his guilty plea on bad legal advice. Remember when I tried to say, I bet you got talked into it? What if it never happened, but if I got convicted? What if a guy got convicted of murder but never actually killed anybody and he gets let go 20 years later, it came out, wow, he really didn't do it. But he got bad legal advice because they said, you're not going to get off this whether you did it or didn't.
Yeah.
They're going to convict you no matter what. I'm still on that page, and reading that right there, like I said, I talked to my friend as a lawyer about that because I told him about the podcast, and I was like, this came up, like blah blah. He's like, yeah, he's like, I can see a lawyer definitely doing that. Just like just because you pled guilty or get convicted of something doesn't necessarily mean you did it, but it doesn't really matter.
Just like
maybe it never really happened.
Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.
That's right, and vice versa, man. It's really I could see just because of the stuff that I've heard about how legally complicated things can be.
Yeah,
lawyers will tell you to do what you think is the wrong thing to do, but they're like, man, trust me, I do this for a living. I get cases like you all the time. Whether you did it or didn't doesn't matter. What really happened, it doesn't matter. Like you got to remember, like when they're in the courtrooms, they're heartless and it doesn't matter. They have to be. They're like, this would be probably the best way for you to go in the long run. But
I don't think
maybe they didn't. I'm just saying, like nobody knows. Like he knows and that kid knows, and that's the only two people that know.
I was gonna say I don't think anybody here is saying that the American legal system is perfect in any way at all. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that get railroaded.
It's
not.
America.
A lot of people do get railroaded, and a lot of people do end up winning on appeal after the fact, which is good. That's why one of the reasons we have an appeals process. And I know that process isn't perfect either. But in this kid's situation, I don't feel like Oregon State did enough to distance themselves from the situation. I don't think that Kansas City was doing a good
Chinese
thing.
Baseball League sure distanced themselves.
Well, they again, as soon as they're like, oh wait, what's his name? No.
So maybe this is it for him, and maybe he's paying the penalty.
Maybe
for it.
I'm saying, so if you get convicted of a crime, what job is okay to have?
You're right.
I think it depends on the crime, though. Again, obviously, if he's been accused, you don't want somebody that has sex crimes with a child necessarily teaching children.
Yeah, I mean, I got that from you the last time about being a public figurehead, but you're still allowed to do. But
well, it's like we talked about this last week on the podcast about when we were going through the Ohio State thing, but the Penn State thing with Jerry Sandusky.
Yeah.
You can't continue to allow him to be around children.
Yeah, he can't have access.
If they knew that it was a problem, and they admitted that they knew that this guy had this problem for years and years. If you're going to suppress that, okay, you've got your reasons to do that, to maybe protect him. Mm-hmm. But you cannot allow him to continuously be around kids. It's taking a alcoholic to a bar every day. You can't do it.
Right. I mean, it would have been one thing if they just let him go and didn't say why.
The later stuff, what he actually got caught on, he wasn't even working or part of the university anymore. It was a Sandusky Youth Football Foundation. Yeah. He wasn't even a coach or anything anymore.
So who allowed that? Think of the name of that.
Yeah.
It was a
foundation.
Yeah, but they didn't know anything about that stuff. They didn't know anything about that. So
somebody knew.
They're saying way back when, maybe. Well, people started coming out of the woodwork. I don't know.
But that's my point. Somebody knew that these things were happening through the years, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's
people,
been established.
Just the guys that came out and claimed that it happened to them when they were kids. But
I think
there was a lot more grown men came out and said it happened.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it was found false because it actually came off of 2 people.
At the same time, though,
and one of them said admittedly, well, he touched me on the shoulders, and I just didn't like that because it was like sexual feeling. I was like, oh, wow.
I don't think anything really was going to happen.
Touching your ding-a-ding.
But it's supposed to be the one guy. Yeah.
Real.
He said the one for sure, they were both naked in a shower at the same time. They never said there was any physical contact, but I guess,
I've been naked in a shower with plenty of guys.
I don't think that
Not
anything
lately,
would have realistically happened at Penn State without Joe Paterno knowing about it.
Right.
I don't.
Like I said, I don't blame an 84-year-old man for not knowing what somebody else in the world is doing. I don't know. It's easier to somebody's got to get blamed for something.
Well,
somebody's got to point a finger at somebody. Yeah. That's all it is. It could have been anybody. They could have got anybody. It just had to be somebody. A lot of times, that's what I feel like. It's got to be somebody.
Is it Megalodon?
The Meg.
What?
I don't know. I saw that. For some reason, I keep a thing on my notes here for podcast notes, and it's just things that jump into my head. And I wrote down Megalodon.
I think that could be a cool character.
If his name was really Megalodon
instead
of Megalodon,
he's been misunderstood his whole life.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's just me, Dan.
It's just Dan.
I'm a
I don't know
vegetarian.
what this is about. Another one was, I actually heard this phrase that everybody has a human budget. And I guess that's for how you use your body, right? Like thinking about, I used to think that
I'm over budget.
That you're only given so many things physically in your life to be able to perform. Like ejaculation. You only have, you're on a budget. And you gotta either, it's like spending money.
I'm definitely over budget. I've gone beyond the budget.
I used to think that we're on like a countdown.
Like you
like
think
there's
it,
a
like
ticker.
that old
ball.
theory that they said your heart has only so many heartbeats, so don't exercise, or like stuff like that.
You're on some sort of a budget.
There's still Asian doctors. There's one right now that it got brought up recently. He's like this really famous Chinese doctor, and he comes out and he's saying still sticking by what he's always said, that no exercise, blah blah blah. That's why Asians live longer, because they're not doing high intensity exercise.
Don't do shit.
Yeah, and he's like, because your heart, only, it's like everybody's like, no.
But you believe that you only have a set amount of ejaculations? Is that
there's no scientific basis behind that. I did zero research.
Okay, good.
There's a thing to that too.
There's only so many of these. I gotta be running out.
Human beings, like with athletes, bodybuilders, stuff, they have all the time. Certain muscles on their body stuff will only get so big. It's in your DNA. It can genetically expand to a certain size, and that's as big as it's ever going to be able to get, no matter what you do. There's no amount of drugs. There's no amount of anything you can take that's going to make that big. Well, drugs, but that's why guys go into what's popular now is the mineral oils. You see these guys that are super blown up. They're injecting
it right into
they're
the
injecting
muscle, right?
mineral oils into it to make it expand. It works its way out of his body, but they're not actually making their muscle bigger. Like there's this much amount of muscle tissue, and that's all it's going to be, and it's as big as it's going to get.
But that goes into the
mineral oil enema. That's what I'm talking about.
That actually says mineral oil laxative.
Mineral oil enema, mineral oil laxative.
There it is. Okay. I saw this. These guys that shoot the stuff straight into their
that doesn't seem like muscle. A good idea.
It looks horrific, doesn't it?
It's terrible, dude. And it's all foreigners. There's nobody in the U.S. doing it. There was one guy, I can't remember his name. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records. They used to run that show on Fox about the Guinness Book of World Records. Greg Valentino, world's largest arms. And they did a documentary on him called The Man Whose Arms Exploded.
I saw that.
Right. And it basically, he got, from doing that and using the same needles and everything all the time, he got this massive infection. They had to remove all of his muscle and stuff out of his arms. It was terrible.
Isn't that messed up?
Yeah. But it's a huge thing now. I mean, it's all over social media. Guys are doing it.
I've seen this for a little while.
But it's just...
This looks dumb.
Yeah, it's super unnatural. I mean, God, it's the worst. It's worse than anything anybody on steroids has ever done. I mean, it's the worst.
Looks like there's,
they've literally they've pumped up mineral oil, like, so, because if they put anything thinner than that, like minerals are not detrimental by itself to the body. It's not like acidic or poisonous. So, and it's thick enough that it like maintains and stays in there.
And they don't have to work out.
Not really, no. They don't. I mean, because look at him. Look at his hands and forearms and stuff. If they were actually building that muscle, the rest of that would go along with it.
Yeah.
But they literally injecting it straight into the bicep. There's only 2 muscles in the bicep. Stick one in the other of them.
Yeah, that looks real healthy.
And that's all you got to do.
I can't imagine.
And you know what? When they lose that and they can't do it anymore, that skin's going to be, ugh.
Saggy.
God. Everybody's like,
really
bro,
nice.
why are you walking around with that 3X t-shirt? I'm not.
So another thing that I came across was this, and this is a little bit of an informative part of the show.
No.
Public service announcement.
A little PSA here. The article that I stumbled across said why you should never ever rinse your dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. Now, I know this doesn't sound all that interesting, but all of the this, maybe you guys that are listening, maybe you'll learn a little something here. So the new dishwashers that are made, they all have sensors in them.
Yeah.
Right? And if you put dishes in there without loose food on them, when the food is, because the sensors pick up how much loose food is in the water as it's swirling around.
Mm-hmm.
So it knows how long to run the cycle for cleaning. If there's nothing floating around in that water, it thinks it doesn't have to clean.
So you're saying our
dishwashers density, I guess?
Are too smart.
Yes, absolutely.
To know that you should just clean instead of going, we're good.
If you're putting dishes in the dishwasher, leave the loose food on it, because once the dishwasher runs its cycle, the sensor on it will pick up the loose debris and know how long to run the cycle of cleaning. If there's no loose debris floating around in there, it'll sense that there's no need to clean.
I think we should go back to stupid dishwashers then, because I think you should just be able to hit a button that says clean, and it runs for a set period of time instead of trying. That's
what mine is. So the one in my house I'm in is built in '89. It's the original dishwasher. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any sensors that tell it when that is. But the thing I was raised on when I was a kid, I was like
a garden hose in there.
Yeah, I used to tell my mom, now it's a little dinosaur with a shooting water out, a little baby hippopotamus dinosaur. Right. My mom was saying when I was a kid why we had to do that. The debris, too many chunks clog up the drain in the dishwasher when it drains the water. Not supposed to put it in there with chunky stuff all over it. It's just supposed to more like finish and polish the dishes.
You don't want to put this whole lasagna in there.
Yeah.
Although we should be able to do that, 2018.
Shit's smart these days, man.
2018.
But apparently it's too smart.
It's too smart. So don't put clean dishes in there.
We're not going to have to worry about straws getting in there either anymore.
Nope, no straws. We ain't doing those no more. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it.
I'm okay with it.
I think I should start bootlegging straws.
Open up a trench coat with a selection of
straws. Hey, man, I got the goods.
I got what you need.
I got what you need right here, straws.
Kids are going to school with Trapper Keepers. They got straws in the pencil slots because they don't write anymore.
That's right.
You don't even know, bro. I got a swirly straw.
Change your world.
None of them left.
4 feet long.
Change your world.
Yeah, their state's California is literally on fire and burning to death.
And we're worried about
straws. They're worried about the straw usage.
That's the truth.
Well, I think you can do two things at the same time. I really
They're doing horrible at it. They were focusing on straws, and look what happened.
Yep.
That's not
That's exactly how it went, John.
Look.
Hey, look over there.
The proof is in the pudding. Telling you.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, Augusta is doing that. Downtown establishments can't use straws, I think. I don't know if they got turned officially all the way yet. But
I know.
I'm okay. I get it. And when people are like, "Oh, that's so stupid," and then my response, and this will lead me off into one more thing. My response is, "Well, honestly, people made it a problem. Yeah, it does sound really freaking stupid, but because it's gotten out of control, yeah, we have to because you can't trust you guys to throw your straws in the trash." That sounds dumb, but it's that simple.
No,
so so that makes me think of another thing where I think about this too. I'm like, people keep saying how dumb this is. Yeah, I agree. A lot of laws and stuff they keep trying to talk about are dumb. Debates more now than ever. I get guys coming in where I work, about the issues with gun sales. Well, I don't understand why you got to be 21 now instead of 18. Probably. I was like, honestly, everyone I meet between the age of 18 and 21 has proven that they don't need to have a firearm. And I was like, it sucks. But
you met anybody that age?
They're doing this stuff. We were talking about how dumb laws get enacted because too many people are doing too much dumb shit.
Yeah.
You kind of need it, unfortunately. All the government should tell us what to do. Well, we're doing bad by ourselves, so we I think some things we do.
Most parameters aren't set on the majority.
Right.
It's set because a minority of people, a small group, can't figure out how to do something right.
And it's causing a big enough... basically. It's causing a big enough problem that somebody's got to step in and do something, unfortunately.
That's right.
So I used to not think that way, but now when you really think about it, it's got to kind of make sense. It sounds dumb, but it's like, hey, they're causing a ton of problems.
Yeah.
Because of this. It might sound silly, but now there's no straws. So 20 years from now, somebody's going to be doing whatever kind of broadcasting show they're doing. Like, so in Augusta, Georgia, they got rid of straws. What the hell happened that made them have to get rid of straws?
You know
what I mean?
You don't want to know.
Yeah. That's where that stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
I don't think anybody should be allowed to go to college until they're at least 25.
Really?
Yes.
What if they're like totally responsibly and emotionally capable of doing it?
There again, have you met anybody 18 to 21?
Man, but I'm saying that, and that's like a lot of people, but there's these 16, 15-year-old Indian kids and Asian kids.
You're talking about a tiny percentage.
Could they go if they want to? What if I knew a bunch of responsible 18-year-olds I went to school with?
A bunch. Wow.
I get that.
I know a ton of people. Like a lot of my senior class are all the ones I've kettled with. Honestly, doing really good in life.
Okay.
They went to school and they did exactly the quote unquote thing that they were taught to do as a kid. You go through school, then you go to college, and then you get a job, get married, have kids, blah blah.
Yeah, but that's still not the norm.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's right.
Right. I get that.
Okay.
I guess maybe I should narrow down my point, and it's that. It's rare that somebody that's 17 or 18 years old, really 17, because that's when you decide where you're going to college and what you're going to college for.
Yeah.
It's rare that any of them actually have a clue what they want to do, what they want to try to do, what they are good at, what they're not good at, what direction they want to go in at that age. Nobody does. It's rare. There's plenty of people that go to school when they're 18 and they graduate college and they get a job and they have a successful life. I'm not saying that inhibits them by being that age. I'm saying that to make college a more useful tool where you know exactly what you're going in for. Mm-hmm. You've already had some life experience. You've lived outside, of your home. You've figured out that, okay, this is what I like to do. Yeah. And now I'm going to go to college to do this.
And that's when you get to play sports.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I was much better at 25 than I was 18.
I get your point with that, and it does make sense that
and it may be just
that's what the first 2 years is supposed to be, because your first 2 years is like your associate's classes where it's just all academically based, and it gives
that a waste of time, though?
Well, I guess in a way, I don't know if it's designed this way, but that kind of lets you kind of intro into it, and then after your first 2 years, decide is that for you, or now where do you want to go now that you're done with that? Now if you do 2 years worth of just straight academics classes, and you're still able to keep, and you're still interested and want to keep going, then that's what you should be doing. You know what I mean?
You're going to put yourself, with student.
Then you're there for a purpose. You're not just going. You're not just going because you were expected to, and your parents said you're going to go to college. They're there because if you made it for 2 years and you want to do a third year and start getting to a major, then you wanted to be there, and then that means you were ready for it. Like you're saying, they're not ready. They don't know. Yeah, I kind of didn't know either. I went because I was supposed to.
You're supposed to. Yeah. That's right.
And I wanted to get out. So.
Yeah. But that's what I'm getting at is it needs to be a more focused thing.
I definitely
You shouldn't have the option to spend 2 years to figure it out at the amount of money that college costs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that.
You know what I mean? Like it's got to be a more focused effort, I think. And I don't know, that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that it'd be better served if it was an older age before you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
The gun thing, absolutely. Put it in the hands of more responsible people.
Put it in the hands of babies. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, that goes well nowhere. But any of those types of things, I mean, alcohol, voting.
Yeah.
All you 18-year-olds out there that are voting.
There's actually a couple of kids I work with. They're in their early 20s. They've never voted before. They've not went and voted.
I didn't vote until I was in my mid-20s.
My mom made me go when I was 18. We went and voted.
That's good.
I voted for everybody they went to. Because I didn't know. I didn't follow politics. So everybody, my mom was like, I was like, who am I supposed to vote for? She's like, well, I'm doing this person. And they're like, well, I don't watch the news. Well, I'm supposed to. I just picked whoever they picked. Cause I was like, my parents are smart.
Voted for Dan Quayle.
Maybe. I guess so. He got in there.
David
Duke.
I saw him at what did they do? It was a special appearance at Ryan's Steakhouse on 25 in Augusta. Dan Quayle. I got pictures of me at it.
No, I thought you were trying to say David Duke.
I don't know.
Yeah, David Duke was here. He was in a different party.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was fire and cross. I don't know. Stuff.
It's housewarming.
That's right. Let's see. What else we got?
Well, I think the only other thing we kind of looked at was the...
There was a story on the back one. I don't know how much worth talking about, but I thought it was kind of crazy and interesting. But they breezed over it. The Wake Forest coach that punched the guy and killed him.
Oh, yeah.
For him knocking on the window to see if it was his Uber driver. Punched him, knocked him on the ground.
What?
And he hit his head and died. Yeah. I mean, this was like ABC World News.
This is recent.
It was on.
Yeah.
Nobody watches that.
Past week. I watch it. I hate some of the spin. I hate some of the things they pull out, but keeps you up to date on a few things.
But yeah,
it was a Wake Forest coach?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, he punched him. And,
in charge, maybe with manslaughter. I'm not 100% sure.
And when he hit the ground, he cracked his skull.
This is on Fox News. Nobody watches that shit either. Except my mother, 27 hours a day.
Assault.
My dad watches it all day.
Wake Forest assistant basketball coach charged with assault and deadly NYC attack. I'm assuming that's New York City.
Nah.
Let's see. An assistant men's basketball coach at Wake Forest University has been arrested and charged with assault in connection with the deadly attack on a tourist in New York City, borough of Queens, police said Thursday. Investigators say Jamil Jones, 35, punched Sandor Zazabo, also 35, in the head following confrontation early Sunday. Zazabo fell and hit his head on the pavement, knocking him unconscious. He was rushed to a local hospital, but died 2 days later because he's a pussy.
They caught
According to police, Jones fled the scene in a white SUV. Was it a Bronco? We don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
That would be great if it was. It was not immediately clear what led to his arrest. He can't hide well. The New York Post reported that Zazabo, a native of Boca Raton, Florida, was visiting New York for his stepsister's wedding. Sources told the paper that Zazabo was intoxicated, banging on cars outside his brother's hotel while looking for a ride. That he had called Jones allegedly punched Zazabo after the victim banged on his car.
Yeah, he thought it was his Uber.
He did. So they said the guy who called the Uber, Zazabo, his phone died. His witnesses said his phone had died. He wasn't sure which one, so he started knocking on the window of all the cars and asking the Uber driver. And then apparently that Zabadoo got out, hit him. But there's also a witness that didn't want to be shown on TV. They just kind of had, the lower half of his body, and he's talking. That filmed with his cell phone and gave him the video of that a coach, when he knocked that dude unconscious, picks him up, drags him over to the sidewalk, leans him against a mailbox, and then runs away. I was like,
You stay right here.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
It's just bad. And then their family issued an apology, and the family of the guy that died was like, well, your apology is not accepted. They literally said that if you watch it on the news, it's like, it's too late, not accepted. And we're like, holy cow.
Excuse me, you my Uber driver? No, you sit right here. You'll be fine.
If he dies, he dies.
He dies. Oh, so bad.
Well, he's screwed.
Yeah, at the very least, it's going to be manslaughter.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Gotta die from getting punched in the head? Come on, man. That's silly.
Sure his name wasn't Glass Joe? I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, I think other than that, we're...
What do you want to talk about the Unite the Right March coming up in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, jeez. No. No. Not even getting into that.
What's coming up in Washington, D.C.?
Unite the Right.
So they're gathering for the anniversary of the Charlottesville thing that happened last year. Remember that? They call them white supremacists, but they're like super against that. But they, the tiki torches.
They don't like being called white supremacists.
They don't?
No.
I think they would. It's kind of like a lesbian.
That wasn't their point they were trying to make.
I don't think that's right. I'm sorry, anybody out there listening. That's not the way I feel. Although I did back in my bar owning days. I walked up behind these two gentlemen that were wearing plaid and had flat top haircuts, and walked around and just said, "Hey, how's it going today, fellas?" And realized it was two women.
That's hilarious.
They were pissed and very pleased at the same time. So that's
it's
just
working.
A story. Take it one way or the other. I don't really care.
Oh, one more thing with that. I don't know if you've seen I don't know how I feel about this. The last time I was with you guys and we talked a little bit about how the idea of men and toughness, all that stuff's kind of been changing. So there's a commercial that's really popular now. They first aired it during the ESPYs they just had. Sponsored by this site Bonobos. I guess they make clothing or something for Walmart. And they basically have a bunch of random guys reading the definition on their phones of masculinity. And it's just all really like effeminate looking guys, like just sickly looking guys. And they're like, well, it doesn't sound like me at all. So their big mission statement is they're trying to get rid of masculinity.
Sure. There's been an attack on masculinity for
And I'm like, gosh, dude, it bothers me, dude. I can't really necessarily explain why it bothers me. But it's just like they're just trying to turn guys away from all the traditional stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Good luck.
I think it depends on what the traditional things they want to turn them away from. If it's wife beating, then I think I'm all for that. But at the same time,
it depends what she did or didn't do.
Or didn't do.
No. But I get it. I do. I don't agree with it. But
You don't like being a man?
It's not. It doesn't feel as great as it used to be. I'll tell you that.
I don't know, man.
There's an episode of Roseanne where the kid said to the father, he goes, "Why'd mom call you a man like that?" He goes, "Well, she's mad at me." He goes, "What? I thought it was good to be a man." He goes, "Oh, not since the late 60s, son."
The 50s were the golden age of that. Well, it's going to wrap us up today.
All right.
We appreciate everybody listening to us this week. Remember to go to our YouTube channel, The Alleged Reality. We want you to also go to the Facebook page, The Alleged Reality. Post your comments. Give us your ideas. If you want us to talk about certain topics, we'll be glad to do that. We appreciate you listening. For John, for Kyle, we appreciate it, and we are out.
Thank you very much.
Adios, amigos, huevos, rancheros.